Aloha hoku ohana. Thank you guys so much for joining me here for your reading. I'm super excited to open up this one. It's basically all about pearls of wisdom that you guys have gained through many incarnations, and you're bringing forward your pearls of wisdom, and you're doing that as you bring forward your generational lineage. Just like you're uncovering more pearls, you're discovering more hidden treasure within you, new aspects of yourself, and this is definitely leading you to discover the value of, I'm hearing like the hero's journey. That's almost what it reminds me of. Some of you have definitely been on like a hero's journey, and you're being called to embark on a new one as well. So in this astral travel, I saw a lot of trauma and basically compartmentalization that was happening, where people were kind of integrating these different aspects of self. I'm seeing somebody now, like they discover a pearl, right? Which is like the value of an experience. And they were not really able to connect the dots until they had collected a certain amount of XP, right? Like certain experience within this gameplay on Earth. And it's like you're seeing this cosmic overlay in a different way now from the eyes of the soul, where you're seeing this journey was really necessary in order to uncover this pearl of wisdom, and that is actually interconnected with this next pearl that I had found, and that's interconnected with this. But there's something about you're seeing the interconnectivity in all of it, and how you're kind of like weaving them onto one, you know, again, single thread. You know, it's like you're seeing how things are more connected than you thought initially. Maybe this is about the preparation for you to be shaped into the person that you are now. But yeah, I saw jewelry on a bus. So this was pearl necklaces. There was also earpieces that this person was basically putting into their ear, and it kind of blocked out the external noise. And they were talking also about like things being cultured, and then also natural pearls. So precious stones in the metaphysical realm represent an increase in self-worth. And it also represents where you're opening your vision up, okay, to these experiences, and it's leading to greater fulfillment on a soul lesson, because things that you thought that you never would have been able to overcome once upon a time are things that you kind of like step over now. You know, things that used to trip up or trip over, you step over now. That's literally the energy that I'm receiving. And there's also something else. One of you said something. Let me see what you said. So this could be people that don't hear you, like they don't listen to you because they don't have the capacity to, because ears are a super big theme. One of you said they don't hear well. So when I said you are looking very radiant, they said I do not look like a radio ant. It's like you guys could be crushing abrupt negative thought patterns with ants as well. That's almost what it's giving me during this time. You're really conscious of the things that you listen to, okay? And you're realizing that the small conditioned part of the ego is almost like becoming background noise in a coffee shop right now, as the voice of the soul becomes louder and louder. And it definitely gives me a vibe of what else was coming through. Just the experiences that have gone on. So the way that pearls are created are through a parasite or an irritant entering into the oyster, and the oyster begins to create this protective film, which is the lens of discernment, right? To be able to look at situations from the eyes of the soul and from a neutral perspective. And they begin to create this film, which creates a catalyzing moment for them. It creates this major point of divergence where they turn leaden situations into golden opportunities for themselves. It leads to them being able to unlock just how much, not that they can transform themselves, but also how they can transform the situations around them by transforming the way that they engage with these situations. So there's almost like a different engagement process that you're going through right now, and I'm seeing it as an alchemical marriage where you are able to protect and ground your energy and stand your ground, but then you also have this like nurturing ability, not just towards yourself but also others. Like you can extend so much acceptance for the situation and just understanding the fundamental layers of this reality and why things operate the way that they do, or why people operate the way that they do, and hold space for the paradox in ways that they may not be able to do for themselves right now. So yeah, it's super interesting here. Okay, there's a lot that's going on. Anyway, it does represent messages that are being retrieved from your inner depths during this time and the unconscious parts of yourself. So this is like intellect and wisdom that you're obtaining, and luck and protection that you also have in your life. It being on a bus is about new directions and life opportunities, and it also represents a rare find, right? So it's like a very lucky, it's like your luck, which is just where your preparation is meeting these opportunities, and these are things that can appear along your journey that you call life. So pearl jewelry in metaphysical realms, it represents again like a good omen. It also represents it being associated with lunar forces. So this is something that maybe you don't see coming, or something that you're retrieving from the subconscious layer of yourself, right? Where you're having some kind of deep soul reflection during this time, and it's allowing you to shine like iridescently. You know, it's like you have so many different facets of yourself. You have so many different colors, so many different perspectives that you can have and apply to one situation. And that is you guys demonstrating your multidimensionality, where you can see things from multiple dimensions, which is multiple frequencies and multiple filters of perceptions. You can see it as like a disastrous event that a parasite would choose to enter into an oyster, or you can also see it from a higher perspective, from another filter of perception, where it actually was the moment that unlocked your superpower. It was the moment that allowed you to discover that you have all it is that you needed within you all along to be able to transmute and alchemize situations and actually use them as a catalyst for growth. You know, that's what it is. It's like you're using this as energy as disposal to your advantage. And if anything, it only helps you further accelerate along your path, because you're not attaching to the situations or taking it personally. You just see that it's something that is vibrational, that aligns. So ears are like a womb, you know, they're connected to the spherical model of this reality, and it does represent like your wise behavior, right? It's like you guys are listening to guidance from your higher self when it comes to the highest possible ways of navigating these experiences when it comes to life on earth and all of the contrast that holds. And yeah, you're being really careful what it is that you listen to. Natural pearls, again, are also just antique. So this is almost like something that has been passed down ancestrally, like this ability. And I feel like you guys are one of the first within a historical bloodline to be able to make this shift, to be able to, I'm hearing like connect the dots, okay? And that is like, you're an anomaly because of that. You're an anomaly within your historical bloodline for being able to even open up your vision to this degree. And you've only been able to open up your vision by coming into your heart space, by being able to extend unconditional love, which is accepting people as they are, but then also with the masculine energy, placing them where they belong in vicinity to you, and realizing that you're not here to change or impart anything on them, but you're actually here to change yourself in the process, and again change the way that you kind of like engage or what you want to disengage from, right? So oysters are natural filters, right? This is like a natural filter that you guys have, where you can filter out the experiences, the people that have played a part in your story, but you're not attaching to the characters or the stories that have played out. You're just pretty much seeing the value that was able to be extracted from these experiences when it comes to how it's attributing towards your soul's growth, because it's all in the benefit of your soul's growth in the end. So yeah, when a parasite gets into the mollusk of a oyster, it creates a natural pearl, and that's what you guys have been able to do. And this is something that you're definitely being admired for. It definitely brings me an elegy of like the goddess Venus, where it's like you can apply love to these situations, and you're going to attract a lot of people because of this energy that you're sitting in. Venus has been coming up a lot recently as well, where at first glance people can perceive certain things about you, where Venus caught all of the attention from like, you know, the mortal and the immortal beings, and they all fell deeply mad in love with her. But there's something around you just embodying unconditional love, where you've fallen deeply and madly in love with yourself and with the universe and with everyone and everything that has been interconnected into your story, in order to reveal the most hidden but also true aspects of yourself. You know, that's definitely the vibe that it gives me. It's like looking back at your life, all you can do is fall madly in love, which is just a state of being, with the beautiful intricate design that is your life. and you can only really gaze into that design in complete astonishment, you know? That's the vibe that it gives me. And this is how people see you, because it's like you're a mirror, you know? That's what I'm seeing. There's like a transparency about you, where you accept and own all of your truth, all parts of your story, and you stepped into this light by owning the darkness or owning the shadow and integrating your shadow. But yeah, it's a really beautiful energy that's coming through. So oysters are all about, again, choosing how your environment affects your physical matter. And the act of things ending is almost like a new potential that is emerging within you during this time as well, where you can take something again of little value and transmute it, releasing again a story that has played out and zooming out and seeing things from a bigger perspective. So you're seeing that again, this has just brought you back into alchemy. Anything else that's been specific? You're not allowing your external factors or situations to govern your internal state as well. And you're turning triumph into trouble, okay? Right, we'll go ahead and leave it there. But this is like the matrix design. Okay, let's go ahead and see. But yeah, you're not taking anything personally. And that's like the most beautiful thing about you. It's like you're not allowing anything that's happening when it comes to external stimuli to move you outside of the state of internal harmony that you have within yourself. And the more harmony that you have within yourself, the more harmony you have with everything that happens externally, right? And you're not judging it or others, right? Because that's rooted in fear, and it kind of disconnects you from yourself. There's something about your kind of loving things. Again, you're seeing things from a wider spectrum. You're seeing things from all frequencies, all bandwidths of frequency light, and you're opening up from this small myopic filter perception, which is to say this is you versus me, into a bigger, wider, universal truth of what are you teaching me through this experience? What am I teaching you? And how is this interconnected, right? What are we teaching each other through these different subjective viewpoints? And then you have geocentric model. So it's almost like, can you see your stories on Earth from that wider perspective and lens? And I feel like you guys have been able to master this process. So let's go ahead and take a look at geocentric model. Okay, geocentric model basically says, let me find it right here, it was, it's a hard page to open. Wounded ego, right? Super interesting, literally just what we talked about to the T. So taking something personally is effectively accepting some fear or insecurity that prevents an open wound being seen clearly or with a broad mind. And that's literally what I wrote here as well. I wrote that, again, it's always in benefit for your growth, expansion, and evolution, where you're realizing that the resistance or irritant that was there was to teach you about maintaining your home frequency, holding this level of truth, right? Being able to see the truth in others, even if they don't want to look at that truth within themselves, right? This could be about self-serving parasites or parasitic energy exchanges, and seeing that as an invitation that you get to decide if you want to accept or not, you know? But yeah, it's super interesting getting clearer about why you've ended up in certain situations and how they're assisting you with your soul's growth, you know, because a really enlightened being will ask themselves the question around what was my vibrational frequency to attract this experience to me. And a very, very enlightened being will begin to ask themselves the question of how is this benefiting not just my sovereign journey, but also the collective consciousness, right? What part are we all playing in the cycles, and how does that fit into the bigger picture of us evolving as a species. So yeah, let down your guard. It calls for a change in perspective, right? Widening your spectrum, seeing life through the eyes of the soul and through the eyes of love instead of through the eyes of pain and suffering. So explore your inner self, investigate the fear or pain lying deep within. If it shows itself, it's because there is more hiding behind it. And that's what I was seeing, like, you guys are widening your perception or your spectrum, right, of your vision. And I was seeing it as, you know, so, for example, Spirit was showing me last night that a parasite enters into an oyster, right, which is like you guys, right, where maybe there's an irritant in your experience, or, you know, Mr. Anderson or Agent Smith or whatever. and it enters into your experience, and you're realizing that you're not here to change them, but change the way that you kind of like navigate your way through these experiences. And eventually you turn that situation into gold. You turn these things into pearls, right? You turn these things into something of great value. Oh, I can see this clearer. I can see myself clearer. I can hold space for others in a way that they may not be able to do for themselves right now. And there's like a cyclical cycle where it feels like you're releasing a pearl, but that's just for a new parasite to like emerge. And eventually it becomes so fluid. Eventually it just happens. It feels like this cycle just happens through you. You know, it feels like it's no longer happening to you, right? Personally, it no longer feels like it's happening for you just vibrationally, but it feels like you're just one with this cyclical cycle, this spherical model of this reality, right? It just feels like you are one and interconnected with this cycle. It's almost like, okay, I welcome in these experiences. I do not attach to them. And because of that, it's like you're catalyzing these situations, you're transmuting them pretty much instantly. That's the vibe that it gives me. It allows you to come back to your home frequency sooner and sooner each time, right? Something that would have taken you years to get over prior, or something months to get over prior, or weeks or days or hours to get over prior, is over in a matter of seconds. You know, that's almost the vibe that it's giving me for you guys. And maybe things still take like weeks, so some things still take days to get over, some things still take a matter of hours to get over, but there is like this this spherical model that you're moving in, where it's like you're no longer seeing things from like a linear stage, but you're elevating and leveraging as a quantum being, and you're realizing that, okay, these are all interconnected. These are the pearls that I'm recovering, right? It's like, and I'm seeing like different color pearls as well. It's like there's like pink pearls that you're recovering, there's different things, and it was all assisting you when it comes to clearing anything that was lingering within you. You know, I'm seeing just a lot that you guys have been pulling up, and it's a lot of it didn't even belong to you, but a lot of it you had taken on ancestrally to be able to transcend, you know. But there's like a rare pearl that you're forming right now. There's a very rare pearl that you're forming right now. It's the first within your ancestral lineage, within a historical timeline. That's the vibe that it gives me. There's something of great value. Okay. Anything else? Again, does everything rotate around the earth? This theory stated that we are the center of the universe. The universe is immense, and we are definitely not at its center, right? Everything is like revolving around one another, right? We're all playing a part in the cycles, or having a part to play in the cosmos. And it's super interesting. Again, this card is related to ego and insecurities and projection onto others. When we take something personally, it does not say anything about the other person, but it does say a lot about ourselves, right? Did that hurt? It should not, right? You should not take this thing personally. It's like unsolicited advice usually tells more about the needs of the giver than the receiver. If you were an oyster, it's just natural, right, for you to attract an irritant, because an oyster would not be able to create these pearls without it. You know, it's almost like you need the resistance in some way, or the contrast, for soul's growth, right? For soul's rapid expansion. So if anything, you can thank the oyster, you can thank the parasitic energy exchanges, because again, there is that contrast here. In order for you to open your eyes, you must first close them. In order to awaken, you must first sleep. And it's like you guys are becoming super lucid in the dream at this stage in your journey. But yeah, there's so much that's going on. And again, you have spectrum, which is about widening your spectrum. I feel like you're tuning into higher bandwidths of frequency light, and you're seeing how this is all being orchestrated from a higher perspective. The ability to perceive the full range of energy, right? Where it's like, maybe you see fear. I don't want you to enter into me. I don't want you to come into my experience, right? But then you see it from a higher perspective, right? What is this teaching me? So yeah, a group of photons divided. It basically talks about the hidden virtues, things that are hidden that come to light. And it shows us that there's much more to see than we can with the naked eye. It's like see beyond the eyes of the human and look at life on earth through the eyes of the soul, okay? See things in energy, vibration, and frequency, and then you'll begin to speak the language of the universe, okay? So, yeah, wow, super interesting. Right, let's get energy to clarify this. Ace of Wands, beautiful. So this is your major catalyst. That's what it is. Again, a lot of you, these are things that have surged some kind of energy inside of you. And this is energy that can be feeling like a jolt. It can be like a jolt of energy, okay, like electricity, that you feel within your organism when these experiences, you know, present themselves to you. However, you're being invited to actually transmute that energy. Like, anger can become your greatest catalyst if you allow it to. It's not just like a destructive force, it can become your greatest catalyst. You can transmute that anger into motivation, you know, and I'm seeing you being able to utilize this energy, this jolt of energy, as disposal to your advantage. Again, you're able to catalyze this. You're an energy converter. That's what this is, right? It's like you're able to convert these situations. And I feel like some of you have been able to look back and see where these situations have been so potent energetically that you'll forever remember them as your turning point. You know, it's almost like something that marks the history in time for you. It marks a moment in history. It marks a moment within your historical timeline. That's the vibe that it gives me, for sure. Not just for you, but for those who also came before you, and for those who will come after you. Yeah, wow. Like, it's... Yeah. Anything else? We also have the 9 of Birds. Okay, so again, overcoming your fear, your thoughts become self-fulfilling prophecies that propel you towards the very disaster you fear or the very wish that you desire. This is about creating a highly conducive environment for yourself, okay? Being able to grow more gray matter within the brain through meditation, right? Being able to basically come into a state of neutral observation, right? And not being clouded with emotions. Are you looking at the situation again through a distorted lens, through a very myopic lens, or are you seeing it from a higher, broader, universal truth? And the only way that you can do that is by detaching from it's you versus me, or their separation or compartmentalization, and being able to see the interconnectedness in the whole, okay? That's definitely the vibe that it gives me, but there's something that's showing up for you guys here. I don't want to get too much into it. And then you have 3 of Wands. So again, there's like psychic premonitions that you guys could have been receiving when it comes to doing new things, opening up to new experiences, but it could have felt like there was situations keeping you held back or earthbound. And it was an invitation to be able to go the other way. It was an invitation to be realigned with something new and new versions of yourself, okay? To be able to discover how powerful you are and be able to step into that power, okay? Knowing that you can overcome anything. And that's what this is. I feel like the message today is knowing that you can overcome anything. And not just overcome it, but you can thrive through life. Like you're stepping into a season of thriving instead of just feeling like there's unfair choices that you're having to make and you're just surviving. It's like you're stepping into a period where you're thriving through the contrast, because you realize and recognize and remember it's there for soul growth, okay? So let's just close out with an angel number message, and then I'll probably, well, actually, let's get a gateway of the light activation. And then I'll love and leave you there. I'm wondering, like, where is the moon at? I am presence, light body activation, accessing the divine within. And that's exactly what you are doing, right? You're viewing life through the eyes of the observer. Okay, you're viewing life through the eyes of the observer. You may observe geocentric model, and you may be, again, able to observe the voice that may try to take center stage when this happens. But you're changing your point of reference into a high universal truth. That's what I'm seeing. Yeah, you're changing your point of reference. That's what it's giving me. I am presence. Sugar. Okay, so accessing the divine within, looking at life through the eyes of the observer. So again, this talks about Christ consciousness. You're experiencing a great shift, which is helping you understand yourself in ways that were previously impossible. This is an exciting time. You are connecting to the highest form of intelligence within you. The body of light within you is growing brighter and brighter. Again, these situations are like feeding the spirit. That's what it gives me. Again, it's like feeding the spirit and growing the consciousness, right? I remember that's what they used to teach in church, around feeding the spirit and growing the spirit within. And that's what this is. Again, it's like you're absorbing these light codes, you're absorbing these transmissions, and you're downloading the information. That's what it's giving me, for sure. It's like, again, consciousness, different stages in different stages of growth. That's the vibe that it gives me. So it says, and you're becoming aware of how your actions and choices affect the unfolding of your future. The bright light that you're expressing itself is unapologetically, right? It's an exciting time. So you're viewing life right now in a very different, I'm definitely speaking to beings that have highly evolved their consciousness. You're embodying high states of conscious awareness when it comes to this experience on Earth. And you're not being consumed or becoming like earthbound by attaching to the stories that have played out. Like, you're very, very detached from this construct. Soul family, calling your soul family, you don't have to do it alone. So again, you're seeing in the grander scheme of things, right? It's you're calling in your soul family. These are people that have been assigned, souls that have been assigned to assist you, to assist each other. It's all part of this cosmic webbing and network. We have inner earth, right? You'll survive this, new solutions to new beginnings. So again, you're focusing on the world inside of yourself and not yourself within the world. And we also have 𝓬𝓪𝓪 elders. So you're sharing your song, okay, frequency and sound. You're diving deep during this time into yourself. And then you have karmic relationships here, right? Orion energy, polarity, soul growth, conflict. So again, you're seeing that the conflict is here for soul growth. That's what this is with the stars of Orion, right? And that's like Osiris energy. Well, that's like Sirius as well. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah, it allows for like a huge rebirth. You emerge as a new you each time. You're able to see what it is that you're capable of each time. And you're really mastering matter because you're mastering your mind and emotions during this time. Like, you've learned to be able to do that. Yeah, I'm gonna love and leave you guys right there. If you're not already subscribed to this channel, do consider subscribing. I'd love to have you around. Personal reading details are also down below. Thank you guys for doing the work. Join the Discord if you want to join the Discord. That's also going to be linked down below as well. If you want to engage with a lot of like-minded individuals, it's pretty cool. And I'll talk to you guys very soon. Until next time, bye.